Oh, righty-dighty. Yeah, the 11th Cooking Videos with Dave has commenced. And hopefully we stay out of the good graces of the YouTube God's copyright system. As usually this is how it goes. Because Lord knows.
But I'm a lazy, lazy man, Roger.
Anyway, so let's start with this. Carl Jr.'s Western Bacon Cheeseburger Copycat Recipe.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another premiere with me, AB. Now, today, after looking at that thumbnail, I know why you're here. Today, we're doing a Carl's Jr. Western Bacon Cheeseburger. Super simple. I ain't gonna over talk it. Let's get it. But this is a number 3. This is what I always get when I go. And this right here is what they wish they had right here. This is my barbecue sauce, which will be back in stock in just a minute. You know, I'm waiting for the truck to, get here. Hey, so with that being said, let's go. Okay, so look, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with my bacon, right? I did tell you it's a number 3 Western Bacon Cheeseburger, right? So we're just gonna go ahead and put these in just like this. Now, while this is cooking, we're gonna start working on our what? Our onion rings, folks. Now, because the bacon is the star, folks, you know what I mean, you wanna stay on top of it. It depends on what you're doing. For me, I told you, presentation is everything. So when I put it out like this, yes sir, this is what I'm looking for. You know what I mean? If you got a press, that'll work too. I do have one, but I'm gonna make it, everybody don't have a press. So look, just check this out right here. Look at that, that's that $1 million bacon, right? And don't forget, look at all of that flavor.
Again, I just do my bacon in the goddamn oven.
That is leaving in there, because you know what we got to do next, right? We got to put that patty on top. You guys been following me, you know I'm all about like being efficient in here, and so making cooking where it's not a chore, right? So we got our
Well, Carl Jr.'s and Hardee's are the exact same restaurant, so
flour, our garlic, pepper, salt, right? So we just put everything right here, and notice how I put everything around, right? You know what I mean? When you do that, it just makes it so much easier. And if I hadn't said already, let me go ahead and address this part right here.
This is a cheeseburger, not a chicken sandwich.
The full ingredient list will be down in the description box below.
You talking about the onion rings?
It's important for those of you guys who are new to the channel or never seen the video when I'm using flour, right? It is very, very important for you to taste this flour. You know what I mean? I can tell you right off the bat, I'm gonna add a little bit more pepper to it because I can't even see it, right? So we just put it.
So is this for the onion rings? I know it's a Western burger, which usually means onion rings. But it's going all through but I don't know. All right, I'm just going to shut up and watch. But normally, in my experience, onion rings are dipped in a wet batter and then fried.
It in there, just like that. Then I'm going to give it a taste, and then I'm going to adjust my seasoning, to get some great tasting, some seasoned flour. I got my breadcrumbs. And notice how I put everything right here as I need it. That's why I pre-measure. Paprika, just a couple of pinches, so we just finna give this a go, right?
Okay, so he is going with onion rings. Every time I've made onion rings, I've always done it with a wet batter. like a beer batter or something like that.
Okay, so look, this is what I want to show you guys. When you have your onion, you'll see this little thin layer. You see that right there? I know some of y'all remember back in school, we used to take this, put this under the microscope, right? I take this off of there, or anything that's on the outside of that. We want everything to just stick. So when I see it like this, we just pull it off. Got it? Okay, as I told everybody, listen, if you down with the bacon grease, all you want to do is get yourself a strainer. You can see I just started saving it again, folks. So we'll just put some in here like this. We don't want to get rid of it all. We just want to get rid of some of it, right? Because this is going to be our flavor for our patties. Okay, so look, now we get down to the good part, right? Look, again, I want to show you. I set everything up, make it easy for me when I'm cooking, right? Look, we're going to go flour, egg, back in the flour, redo the egg. We finish in the crumbs, and then we put it inside, right? Super simple. We'll just go ahead and drop them in like this, shake it, drop it in there. Now I'm going to take it here. Then we reintroduce, right? Real simple, folks.
This is where the wet hand, dry hand method becomes extremely important.
Shake off the excess. Here, we completely coat it. Shake off the excess here. Boom. Now for the good part.
More of them than two at a time, but yeah, you do you.
Okay, so look, got my onion rings. Remember we preheated our oven to 250 degrees? That's because when we start making our patties and getting everything ready, we want these to stay warm, right? So I'll just stick these in here. They won't cook. We'll just keep them warm. Let's talk about the beef, right? 80-20 is the way to go.
I'd go lower than 250, because remember, 225 is smoking temperature.
If you ask me, for those...
I'd go 200 or 180 or as low as your goddamn oven can go.
You guys are trying to cut out...
Because 100 degrees, it's still hot to human mouths.
A little bit more of the fat. You guys can go ahead and put in, get your beef, I guess, like 90-10. But if you want the flavor, I'm going to tell you 80-20, and if you can, 75-25. That works good.
Well, I understand that, but the problem is the onion rings take so little time to cook that if you're still working on them while you have a batch frying, you're going to overcook the first batch.
Today I'm using my B series, you know what I mean? This is the beef. This right here gives it a nice, flavor profile. And I'm just going to add just a little bit of, black pepper. Then we're going to get in here and work.
That's why if I were to do fries from scratch, I'd have all the fries done and ready to go. I just do them in two batches and then, have everything ready to go. If I'm making onion rings, I have all the onion rings except if they're wet battered because I don't have a choice. If I were to do the dry batter like him, I'd have all the onion rings ready to go just because they go so fucking quick when they're in the oil.
With our hands, and we're gonna go ahead and just mix this up, right? I'm not gonna mix it up, too tough where I make it so dense, right? But you do want to get all of your seasoning throughout, right?
Again, I wouldn't do 250. I'd do 200 or 180. Hot enough to keep it out of the danger zone, but not hot enough to cook it. Food cooks at 225, very, very slowly, but it does cook.
Okay, so once you got it mixed, you know what I'm saying, you got everything, as best as you can. Again, you don't want to just overwork it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and take this. This was 1 pound, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get 3 evenly formed, I guess we'll just call these meatballs. You know what I mean? We'll just let that stay right there. You know what I mean? And we can just pinch off of the ones, but we want them all to be about the same size. Okay, so you see, this is what I was talking about doing the 3 balls equally sized, right? They close enough for me. Look, I'm gonna go ahead and just stick it right here, right? I'm gonna let this go ahead and start off and just, start to sizzle, because I'm gonna do a mash. That's why I got myself some wax paper. But right now, I just want to let it sear, right? I got myself a press. Now I'm gonna show you, you can do it, several different ways. And I know everybody was told don't want to press it, you don't want to spread, push none of the fat out, right? But no worries. So after about, I'm gonna say about 10 seconds or so, you know what I mean? Then we just go ahead and give it a.
Okay, now I am really confused. I get smash burgers. I love smash burgers. But typically they're very small patties. That's why you have 3 or 4 of them on a burger. They're not third-pound patties. But whatever, you do you.
A press, just like you see.
Again, I like smash burgers, but typically those are like 2-ounce burgers because you want to create as much surface area as possible so you get that wonderful crispy goodness that's created by it.
And you go ahead and just pull this off like.
If you make 2-ounce patties into patties before you fry them, typically they're so small. They are sliders. However, if you press them to really thin lengths, that's the size of a McDonald's cheeseburger. A McDonald's cheeseburger is a 2-ounce patty. Just smashed down beforehand, frozen, and then cooked.
Like that. And there you have it. I'm gonna do a little bit of making a hamburger or cooking a hamburger, 101, right? You see how it's starting to like cook and find its way up like that? That's what you want to see. Before you guys start messing with it, I haven't lifted or did anything like that. So now we'll just go ahead and get underneath the bottom. And now we'll just give it a flip. And that there is why I make a great burger. Now, with that over the top, it's up to you how you want to do it. If you want your cheese to be all melted and runny like that, you can do it. But we trying to do a emulation, a copycat of the Western Bacon Cheeseburger, so I'm not gonna put it on there just as of yet.
This is why I don't confine myself to rules like that. Depends on from where. If it's from McDonald's, a McDonald's triple cheeseburger, fine.
All right, so what you saw here is I put the cheese on this one, right? Because I'm gonna do a single, you know what I mean? But we finna do a double, just like they do at Carl's Jr. Okay, so look, I want you to take a look at this. I got it. I'm ready for y'all to hit me up in the comment section. Look, this right here is mayo. Now, this is where we're gonna differ a little bit.
I'm fine with mayo. My only big complaint is your buns aren't toasted.
We finna put some flavor right here on these buns, right? So we finna toast instead of using butter. This is what we're using, folks. Trust me.
Typically, that's what I say.
Let me know if you guys already know about it. And let me just give you a heads up, especially if you say, no, I can't even see that happening. If you ate at one of these burger stands somewhere around your house or whatever, you probably had it toasted in mayo too. A much, much fuller, buttery taste with the mayo as opposed to, using just butter. So, you looking for...
Is he gonna toast the buns with the mayo on it? I'm fine with that.
That level up, this is the way to go. Now, I cleaned out my pan. You know what I mean? I wish I would have been outside, but I'm gonna let you guys know right now, though, it's like 32 degrees outside. This is why I didn't do them outside. Take them like this, and check me out.
Okay, all right. He's gonna toast his buns.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take a look at these. Look at that right there, folks. Somebody call Carl's Jr. or Hardy and tell them to start making them like this. Okay, so you guys can see, look, I'm using, my brand of barbecue sauce, right? You guys use, if you don't have this already, a lot of you guys don't, because my emails are full of When is it gonna be back in stock? I got it, my fault. Now, you guys use whatever barbecue sauces you have that you like, just, cool for yourself, right? Especially if you got something that's got like a little smoky, flavor to it. So we're gonna build it and do everything just the same way they do out here, right? So just go ahead and get you some of that barbecue sauce. Put it on here like that, and then we just want to put this around like this. Hey, somebody call them and tell them, because it look like I'm doing a commercial for them, don't it? You know what I mean? I don't even know if they this generous, with the barbecue sauce, right? So we put that there. Right, we're gonna come with 2 onion rings. Ooh, they nice and crispy, folks. You see that right there? Now look, I got 2 buns here and I got 3 patties. You know why? Because I think I'm gonna do a double bacon western, right? And then I'm gonna do a single one. And the single one, you guys saw it already. That's this right here. I'll just go ahead and put this on the top of that, just like that. For these, go ahead and grab this one here, and I'll put this one here on the top. Now we're just gonna go ahead and add some cheese. Now the reason I did it like this, because if you take a look at the picture, you'll see it's not all melted like that one. That one right there is a little bit of personal for myself, so then we're gonna come with this, just like this. And then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna look at this bacon over here. Now, forgive me folks, I tried to have bacon, but everybody around me seems to want to have the bacon as soon as I make it. And then we'll just put it like this, right? And then for me, put a little bit of this right here on the top.
Unfortunately, no pickles. Big faux pas, but I'll let him go.
Okay, so you see it, needs no introduction. Maybe for those of you guys that live like in Hardy, it seemed like when I was out there working on the road, and I saw them, I don't know if they had this, and this right here is my favorite. This is why Carl's Jr. and me is one. Now, with that being said, only thing it need to be in is that wrapper.
Yeah, for whatever reason, Hardee's and Carl Jr. are the exact same goddamn restaurant. Why they have the different name, I don't fucking know.
But look, I got to squeeze it down like this, and I want you guys to listen to this. You hear that crunch? Man, that's that onion ring. Cheers, y'all.
All right. Okay. Spicy rigatoni with this guy. Apparently this is for YouTube kids. Dude, maybe you'd get more subscribers if you quit trying to be for children.
Private chef, I have to say everything because otherwise, why would you hire me? Because I can cook anything you want me to cook. Anyways, but originally growing up, it was Italian and Mediterranean, being growing up in an Arabic family, but also owning an Italian restaurant. I got that whole Mediterranean in my back pocket, right? So one of the things that I love making the most is my marinara sauce. So I'm gonna show you guys how to make it, and it's simple, but it does take time. Everything that's delicious is simple, but it takes time. So what we have here for the marinara, and now I'm gonna take that marinara sauce, I'm gonna turn it into a spicy rigatoni, something very similar to Carbone's spicy rigatoni, but better, because it's got me, raw meat. Okay, all right. So for the marinara, we're gonna start by, these are ground tomatoes, okay? So I wanna keep things simple for you guys because you're not chefs. You're people at home that wanna learn how to do this. So,
oh, this is why this guy has no subscribers, because he's an arrogant jackass.
Just buy a can of ground tomatoes, okay? If you can get San Marzano tomatoes, that's great, but ground tomatoes, all right? And I have that in there.
Yeah, and I have a blender. So does most Americans. They have these things called fucking blenders.
On medium heat. And then what I'm gonna do is I have some carrots.
I've never actually ate there.
That I've peeled and I've poached. I've poached them to where...
I've never ate at Checkers, so I have no opinion.
they're fork tender, okay? And I'm gonna put them here into a blender. And the thing that takes the longest is these caramelized onions and garlic. So basically what I do is you take some sweet onions and some garlic, and you're gonna saute the onions on low heat for probably about an hour. You gotta be patient. You know, I do it when I'm watching TV. You gotta be patient, gotta kind of work it a little bit, make sure it gets caramelized and brown without burning. And then towards the end of the cook, then you add in the garlic. We do that at the end because we don't want the garlic to get overcooked, burnt, and bitter. Okay, so, but then I still leave it on there for a little bit longer because as it starts to cook, all that starch turns into sugar and it becomes sweet. All right, so we have caramelized onions and garlic, and we're gonna put that in here as well. All right. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add.
Why wouldn't you put the standard 24-ounce can of San Marzano tomatoes in this?
A little bit of the marinara as well. Just to help it blend because it needs a little bit of liquid. So we'll add a little bit of the marinara. I'm sorry, a little bit of the ground tomatoes.
That's most of them. You might as well just add all of it.
Puree that. There we go, there we go. Okay, and once it's all blended, it can be chunky. I like it to have a little texture. Then I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna pour it into the ground tomatoes. I'll do a little bit at a time, just because, you know, I still want it to stay red, but without.
What the fuck is he doing? What the hell is he doing? It's in a scraping metal tweezers on a fucking non-stick pan.
I don't want it to get, you know, the carrot to overtake the color and it becomes more orange than red, so I'll mix it in there. And then once it cooks and it boils, it'll all blend in together. Okay. Now we'll put that to the side. And then for the seasoning, we're gonna do some salt. And I'm not giving you measurements here because it's really just up to you how much you want to put, but let's just say for this size, I'm doing about a tablespoon of each, and then some garlic powder. And a good way for me is, like, I always like to layer the top with a thin layer, and then if it needs more, I'll go back and add it, but that's kind of like my visual way of measuring, is I'll take all the spices, the garlic powder, the basil, the parsley, and then the oregano. I'll put a thin layer and then I'll mix it together. Now the original recipe actually used to call for sugar, but again, try and keep things healthy here. So I started cooking it without sugar.
You mean your tablespoon of salt is gonna that literally pinch of salt, that half a teaspoon of salt is gonna make it so fucking unhealthy. Dude, how the fuck are you a chef?
Just utilizing the sweetness that comes from the caramelized onions and garlic, and then the carrots, when you cook them, they become sweet. And so I don't.
Who the fuck is Dylan Hollis?
To it while we're cooking it. So you can add sugar if you want. Some people actually add red wine as well. I've done that before. I just don't think it really adds that much to the flavor. So we'll let that cook down for a little bit. But that's the Rami's marinara. That's the secret sauce.
Well, looks like dog shit.
Yeah, that's good. When people ask me what my favorite thing to make is, I always say spaghetti marinara because I just love a nice hearty marinara. With
Gentles and ladymen, welcome back to the kitchen.
Except you didn't create a marinara. A marinara is literally tomatoes, salt, and fucking olive oil. I don't know what you created. Probably closer to a ragu. But you didn't even put all the sauce back in.
Homemade meatballs, which we'll get to.
Which is, there is nowhere near enough fucking sauce for homemade meatballs.
Another time. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take that sauce and we're going to turn it into Carbone's spicy rigatoni. I'll show you how they do, at least I'll show you how I think they do it. All right, so now that we've made the sauce, we're going to take that and we're going to turn it into a spicy rigatoni. So we're going to take the sauce that we made and we're going to put it in here. All right. Now the spiciness comes from Calabrian chili peppers. Now, depending on your spice level, sometimes I tend to mix, but
oh, god damn it.
Sauce that we made, and we're going to put it in here, and then just see how many you you can handle. I'd say probably about 3 or 4. I think that's a good point. You could always.
Does it matter? Because that pasta is deader than fucking Old Yeller's dick.
Always add more later if you want. And then we're going to do some heavy cream. We're going to mix that in there as well. And now we're going to blend that all together. All right, and so now if you look at it now, it's got that color that you want. It smells delicious. And now what we're gonna do is
Pasta dishes that have cream in them should be pink.
we're gonna make the spicy rigatoni. Now I've already made the rigatoni. I'm not gonna tell you how to make pasta because on the box, for whatever pasta you buy, it'll tell you how to make pasta. So just follow.
Yeah, except it's been cooked and just sitting in that bowl for so fucking long. Again, it's deader than fucking goddamn Paul Bunyan's dick.
Follow those instructions. No time wasted here. All right, now we're gonna put a little bit of butter. A little bit of butter, and then we'll add in some of the sauce that we just made. And then we'll
He just said the rigatoni is cooked. I can tell by it from the site it's been cooked. But it was left on the counter so long, it's deader than, again, Paul Bunyan's dick.
we'll add in the rigatoni. We want these to cook together for a few minutes.
Of course, God forbid you actually, you do the toss and flip. Or do you not know how to do that?
The beauty of rigatoni, what I love about tube-shelled pasta is that the flavor just gets in that pasta, like inside the tube.
Exactly, yeah. Can't use a pinch of sugar, but fucking a tablespoon and a half of butter is fine. It's like, at this point, if you have any cooking skill at all, you should be able to toss and flip your pasta. Except if you're this jackass and actual Jake. And by the way, the pinch of sugar is just to get the acidity down from using canned tomatoes.
I don't know if that's the proper term for this part right here.
Again, he started the war. I'm just gonna finish it.
All right. I'm just trying not to get messed. Oh, see. Okay. I was wondering how dirty I got because sometimes when I'm cooking for people, I don't realize how dirty I am, and I'm out there talking to them, and I'm like covered in whatever I was. One time I was covered in something purple. I don't know how that happened. I wasn't even cooking anything purple. But yeah, that happens sometimes. So right now I just have apparently 4 red dots right there, probably from the marinara. Okay. All right, so what we're doing is we're gonna let it cook a little bit. And while it's cooking, we're also gonna add Parmesan on top. We're gonna put Parmesan twice. We're gonna put Parmesan as it's cooking, and then we're gonna put Parmesan when we plate it. And then we're gonna garnish it with basil. There's different ways to cut basil. I like the method of just folding it up.
You're gonna need more than 2 leaves.
And just slicing it. And you get
Those
these
knife
nice
skills suck.
that will go as a garnish. We toss it a little bit. All right, looks nice and creamy, just like we like it. And now, we'll put some more Parmesan on top.
I know for a fact that's a lie. Iron Gullet.
Basil. And there you go, Rami's spicy rigatoni.
Your pan's burning. Looks like dog shit.
It's absolutely
All right, let's go with foodwishes.com. Apparently, cherry cola ribs are the order of the day, and hopefully I don't get the yellow triangle of doom.
Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with cherry cola ribs. That's right, I am not a...
Yeah, except my brats were perfect and my ribs were moist as hell. Fuck you.
big soda drinker.
Or laser burn. Get your little camera out and make ribs yourself.
And if I do, it's never cherry cola. Okay, I'm more of a celery soda with a pastrami sandwich kind of guy. But as I've come to find out, cherry cola does make for an incredibly delicious rack of ribs, which strangely enough, really don't taste like cherry or cola. But anyway, we'll get into the tasty notes later. For now, let's go ahead and get started by mixing up a very simple dry rub.
Yeah, except every single restaurant in this fucking country uses garlic, as you call it. Or they make their own. You seriously think professional kitchens are mincing garlic to order? Are you out of your fucking mind? Why do you think, as you call it, garlic was invented?
Which is simply some kosher salt, some freshly ground black pepper, some smoked paprika, some onion powder, and finally a little touch of garlic powder.
Have any of you ever worked in a professional kitchen?
And that's it. We'll give that a quick mix. And then we will set that aside and move on to the wet rub.
Really, is that why you can find it in Gordon Ramsay's restaurant? Every restaurant in the country uses this.
Which is equally simple, since it's just a little bit of yellow mustard, plus a small splash.
Have you? And you're proof that I've never worked in a professional kitchen? Considering, again, I'm the only person here that's Serve Safe certified, or at least was.
Apple cider vinegar, and then a couple tablespoons of the star of the show, some cherry cola. And don't worry, we're going to use way more than that. Okay, I don't want to get sued for false advertising, so we will in fact use the rest of the bottle later. But anyway, we'll give that a quick mix before we move on to
You know what? Tell you what, I'll prove it once all you motherfuckers prove it.
prep our ribs. And what I have here is about a 3-pound slab of baby back ribs. And before I season these, I'm going to do something I almost never do. I'm going to show you how to peel off the
Really? I'm not? Right now I'm seeing a huge violation. I mean, it's fine for a YouTube video and a home cook. But in a professional setting, I'm seeing a huge violation.
membrane, which you can't really see, but if you scrape against the bone on the smaller end, you'll kind of see it peel up a little bit. And if you grab that with a towel, you'll be able to peel that straight across, which people do because they think it's tough or prevents flavors from getting in. Although I don't really buy it, and instead of peeling it off, I usually just slice across like this with the blade of the knife. And speaking of knives, if you see any large
Wooden cutting boards are a huge violation. You would know this if you were Serve Safe certified. I actually am, or actually I take that back, I was. It's been a long time and my certification ran out probably 9 years ago.
chunks of fat, go ahead and trim them off. But anyway, I just wanted to show you what I was talking about in those other rib videos where I made fun of the people that peel off the membrane. But anyway, whether you dismembrane or not, we will transfer that meat side up onto a foil-lined baking sheet, at which point we can brush over our wet rub, followed by about 60% of our dry rub. Okay, I like a little more dry rub going on the meat side than the bone side. And of course, where you think the meat is thick.
Well, then, Allie, I invite you to open up a restaurant and see what happens. And when you get sued for infecting the whole fucking town with a foodborne pathogen...
thicker, you can put a little more rub versus those thinner sections.
No, there is no way to 100% clean a wooden cutting board.
Oh, and by the way, make sure you get...
And if you don't know why, and I do... Again, Allie, just admit you're fucking wrong.
Give yourself lots of foil on either end.
The reason why, dear sports fan, is that the knife makes cuts into the wood. And when the wood is clean, moisture can get down into said slits, even though they're very, very shallow, and basically keep enough moisture to keep bacteria alive. The same cannot be said for plastic cutting boards. This is why they do not use wooden cutting boards in any professional kitchen on the planet. Or at least here in America. If you go to Timbuktu, yeah, maybe they do.
And you'll see why in a few moments. And then once that meat side's been brushed and seasoned, we will flip it over.
But plastic doesn't keep bacteria alive. Wood can.
Do the same thing to the other side. And no, you're not going to have to use all the wet rub. So just save whatever you have left. But we are most definitely using all the dry rub. Since this is a lot of meat, and we have to season it properly. Oh, and we do want to end up with the bone side up, which is the position we will start roasting this at. And what we'll do is turn this until it's centered on the foil. And then we'll kind of fold and crimp the ends to make sort of a boat shape. And we want to try to do this in a way where no juices are going to leak out, since we're going to use those juices later. So as we crimp that together, we kind of want to...
Except, you do know the USDA isn't the only regulatory department that governs food. Like, you're aware of that, Allie. And do you really want me to check?
I'm going to bend it up. And then we'll also attempt to seal that across the top, which took me a while because I'm using standard size aluminum foil instead of that large roll that I usually use for this stuff. But the good news is it doesn't have to be airtight. Okay, we just want to basically have this covered. And since a lot of you are not going to have the large heavy-duty foil, I guess it was good to show you could do it with the regular stuff. And that's it. Once we have that sealed in position, we will transfer that into the center of a 250-degree oven, where we will let it roast low and slow for 2 hours. At which point we'll pull it out, and we'll perform the only semi-difficult step in the whole operation. Since what we'll do is carefully open that up, and once that's opened up, we can transfer those ribs onto another pan for a second, at which point we will very, very carefully pour all the accumulated juices into a...
Okay, apparently wood is safe, but extremely expensive. Because it has to be either maple or cherry wood. And then a hard version of that. And then they are an incredible pain in the ass. So no fucking professional kitchen is going to go to this fucking expense. They're just going to use fucking plastic.
saucepan, which you definitely want to do on the...
Technically, yes. You're right, Iron Gullet. I'm wrong. Go jack off on that in your grandma's panties while masturbating into a jar of peanut butter.
pan, since I've never done this and not spilled it. Oh, and it's easier if you don't put your pan on the floor.
Well, no restaurant would ever use wood. Why would they go to this expense? And keep in mind, the source I used wasn't the USDA. Gee, seems like the first thing I brought up was a bunch of fucking plastic boards. Huh. Let's see. Cross-contamination, cleaning the cutting boards. Bamboo cutting boards. Replacing the worn cutting boards. Yeah, I'm sorry, but no professional kitchen would go to the expense of having a wooden cutting board. They're going to go with probably, if I had to guess, marble or glass. Probably marble, because that won't really go out. And again, keep in mind, it's been 10 years since I've been ServSafe certified, and when I was ServSafe certified, it was plastic or nothing.
We'll very carefully pour that in, and then we'll set that aside for now. And then we'll put our ribs back on top of the foil, only this time with the meat side up. And then we'll give that top one more brushing with our mustard mixture before some...
Again, open up a restaurant, because I guarantee you none of you motherfuckers have worked in a professional kitchen. You've never ran a restaurant. You've never been ServSafe certified. Okay. Here's a real easy question anyone should know. How long does a hot dog have before you have to discard it? How long does chicken have? And finally, what's the temps where you're in the quote-unquote bacteria danger zone? Oh, and how long can things be held in the freezer before they have to be thrown away? Oh, and what happens if you mix different rums into the same bottle and you do it repeatedly over time? Like, let's say a month. What happens to the rum? Also, can liquor go rancid? And if so, how? So let's see, 40 to about 140. That's about right. Have I ever run a restaurant? Whether I have or not is irrelevant. I know you haven't. Well, answer my question. Can liquor go rancid? Okay, so Iron Gullet says yes. Really? If it's stored properly? No, I said, can liquor go rancid? If you guys were Serve Safe certified, you would know that yes, liquor can very rarely go rancid. Usually this is caused by improper storage, if it is unopened, or... Oh, wait. You guys didn't even know what happens if you combine a bunch of different rums or whiskeys. It doesn't have to be a specific type. A little bits of each bottle of liquor into one bottle. You guys don't even know what the fuck happens with that. Do you? No, unopened liquor does not have an indefinite shelf life, as a matter of fact. And you're also not Serve Safe certified. Bartenders are. Oh, really? Then you know what happens when you add little bits of liquor, of different types of liquor, even though it's the same type. You know, a bit of Jose Cuervo, a bit of Don, whatever the fuck. A bits of tequila in one bottle, and bits of rum in another bottle, and bits of whiskey in another bottle. You know what happens, right? You know the proper storage of liquor, right? And you know what is generally the number one cause of liquor going rancid, and it ain't just being open. Oh, okay, so you were Serve Safe certified in what, just the restaurant? Because pretty much across the country, every fucking bar is connected with a restaurant. There are exceptions, but... I mean, generally, if you ran a restaurant, you know how to run the fucking bar component of it. Unless you ran a Chuck E. fucking Cheese or something. Actually, no. Light has very little to do with it going rancid. The number one thing that causes liquor to go rancid is fruit flies. Fruit flies die. Fruit flies are attracted to liquor because of the sugar. They die. Now, while one fruit fly will not turn a bottle of liquor rancid, get about 30 of them in there, and a bartender doesn't give a shit. And they've been in there for a while. You're drinking rancid liquor. You can also drink rancid liquor, even if the bar you could perform fucking surgery in. If you have, you know, let's say you order a rum and coke. And they pull out a bottle, and this happened to me. It was a bottle that just had a plain yellow label on it called rum. I had 5 drinks of this. It's time to getting ready to leave. Me and some lovely ladies are getting in the car. And I'm like, I can't fucking drive. Go. And we start out, we get to the first stoplight. I open up the door and I vomit. And of course, they're like, Jesus Christ, how much did you have to drink? I was like, 5. And they're like, 5? You drank more than that? You know, it's like, they're like, okay, something's wrong. So anyway, get him home. I run up to my friend's bathroom, run into her bathroom, puke my guts out again. And, like, I'm in there for, like, 20 minutes, and I start to fall asleep. Thankfully, you know, knock on the door. She's like, you want me to drive you home, or you want to spend the night on my couch? I'm like, fuck it, I'll go home. It's the only time in my life where I have not wanted to have my back rubbed by a lady. Because, you know, she started rubbing my back trying to comfort me, and I was like, don't fucking touch me, don't fucking... But what it was caused by was most likely the bar was taking all the little bits of rum they had and just putting them in one bottle and it compounding with one another, essentially creating rancid liquor. So yes, liquor can go rancid. You would know this if you were ServSafe certified. To which I know you're not.
Somehow, some way, sealing that back up. And again, I'm glad I was able to show it can be done with regular foil. But man, this would have been so much easier.
No, I already knew it, Ali.
If I used a larger size. In fact, I'm not joking when I say this. If you're looking for a gift for someone that cooks a lot, buy him a few boxes of that large size, heavy-duty foil. Now that, in a culinary context, is pure luxury. But anyway, when we do get that sealed back up...
Really? Why does the law require restaurants, grocery stores, pretty much anything that serves food, to have at least one analog meat thermometer, temperature gauge? Why? Why can't they just use digital?
We will pop that back in for another hour, still at $2.50.
And I know this hasn't changed. Also, just a question. How do you test at least an analog and I suppose a digital thermometer for temperature accuracy?
And while that's working, we can move on to make our mop sauce, which will eventually just be our sauce. And to do that, we will transfer in any of the unused mustard mixture into those accumulated juices, along with a little bit of ketchup, followed by, as promised, the rest of the bottle of that cherry cola. Oh, and by the way, if you want to use a different flavor pop, go ahead. I mean, you are, after all, the Carol Dota, of which flavor soda. And this would work with all kinds of things.
I want to add a bit of rum to that.
Just to name a few. And then the only other thing I'm going to add to this, before we head to the stove, would be a little bit of freshly ground black.
Oh, geez. All these people that claim to be ServSafe certified, I just gave them an easy pitch over the fucking plate. None of them have responded to me. Oh, ice water, right up until it took you the time to look it up online. Yeah, it took him over a minute to give me an answer. Well, there's another far more or less common reason that you haven't given me that you're going to have to dig for a couple of minutes.
Black pepper. And what we want to do is bring that up to a simmer.
You know, why they have to keep analog thermometers around.
On medium-high heat. Although be careful, this can foam up and spill over. So maybe give it a quick stir to degas it. And then once it is simmering, we'll reduce that by about half, which at that point it's going to work as a mop sauce. And you're going to see that in a second. But once it does get to this stage, we'll just turn our heat to low, and we will let this keep reducing, keeping a close eye on it, until eventually it thickens up into something similar to a barbecue sauce. And it's
I would never do ribs in the oven. I'm sorry, but I would never do fucking ribs. Chef John, I love you, buddy. Oh shit! I gotta kill this. I got the yellow triangle of doom. Let's do a summer salad recipe. Which will probably still give me the yellow triangle of doom.
Okay, when it's summertime, you want to eat light and fresh. We've got a salad that we...
Okay, we have the hot chick, the black chick, and this fucking dweeb. They don't. They don't. They don't keep analog thermometers. The ones with the little just dial. They have to. And if you were Serve Safe certified, you'd know why. Fuck it, before Iron Gullet looks it up online, I'll tell you. The reason any place that has to serve food must have analog, aka the old school meat thermometers that are literally just a dial and some digits, and cannot rely exclusively on digital thermometers, is because if the calibration of the digital thermometers is off, there is no way in heaven or hell to reset it. And a digital thermometer, if you look at it, has a bolt. The bolt can be adjusted if it is off when you do the ice water test. But a digital one, there's nothing you can do to reset its calibration. That's why any professional kitchen has the old school thermometers. Okay. Again.
will hit the spot.
Yeah, not just any salad, though. A steak and strawberry salad that you can whip up in minutes with the help of Michael Vignola.
How you know a thermometer is calibrated is you make a bath of ice water, you put the thermometer in it. It should read 32 point whatever degrees.
Nola, right?
Yep.
Executive chef of Catch Hospitality Group, one of the hottest
Catch
restaurants
is
around.
hot, baby.
Yes, it is a requirement, Allie. This is how I know you're full of shit, my dear.
Baby, okay, so we are gonna make this delicious salad.
You can use a digital one, but I would also get an analog one as a backup. Again, on beef, it's not a big deal. Nobody cares. But chicken, pork, you know, you get much beyond a 5-degree difference, you got a problem.
Yep. Things that grow together go together, right? So we're going to do tomatoes and strawberries. We got these beautiful Harry's berries that we've just hand crushed. We're going to make a simple vinaigrette in our shaker bottle.
Okay.
Can you lovely ladies help me out?
Sure.
We're going to pour our honey in there.
Okay.
Okay, here you go.
Yeah, a little bit of our honey.
Except the analog ones can be adjusted, the digital ones cannot. And again, look at any professional kitchen.
We have our minced shallots already in there. A
Okay.
little bit of Dijon mustard. This is going to be your base.
Okay.
Then we're going to pour our acid in, which is our balsamic vinegar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoops. Right in there.
And
Not
then-
yet.
oh.
We're going to put a little bit of our strawberry must in there.
So that's just again. That's just
Just
strawberry and
hand-crushed.
just strawberries or strawberries and tomatoes.
just strawberries.
Okay.
Crush them up.
I can
Okay.
let's-
Give that a good shake first.
Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Shake, shake,
Just
shake.
mix it. Pour that oil in.
Now, how come you wait to the end to pour the oil
Because
in?
you want to make sure your base is nice and solidified, right?
Okay, got it.
Then you mix your
But
oil.
how smart is that to make something in
that jar.
Store it in your fridge, you know,
Totally.
little leftovers. There's our vinaigrette.
I bet that would work on just about any food.
Okay, so now you bought it a beautiful filet mignon.
Straight from Catch Steak. Give a
So the pan's already smoking, so it's already way too hot.
beautiful center cut filet mignon. You know,
Okay.
nice light. We're going to season it liberally. A little bit of salt. You want to season it from up high so it spreads out and cooks a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit of cracked black pepper. Get it in there. Don't be shy.
And flip it and do the same.
Same on both sides.
You can do the other side in the fucking pan, you jag off. Oh, this is why I know I'll always beat Jake.
Sides, right?
Yeah?
And I know it looks like a lot of salt. I promise it's not.
Yeah, because it'll come off when you...
Well, it's going to be your
Except I'll have to fucking cuddle him after I kick his ass.
magnifying glass, the flavor, salt.
Okay. Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it enhances everything.
Okay, so-
Nice, hot, ripping cast iron pan.
Wow.
For my apartment dwellers here in the city, turn your...
Except, unless you put grapeseed oil, possibly peanut oil. If the pan is smoking, the oil is broken, and now you have a bitter pile of shit. If you put in olive oil, you have a bitter pile of shit right now.
smoke alarms off.
Oh, no
We're gonna let
kidding.
this go.
Yeah, open your windows.
I
You
know,
want
that's
to
how
cook
we do.
this about 4 minutes on each side to a medium rare, then add a minute per each side. Very important that we let our steaks rest after cooking, or else it'll bleed out all over the plate. Kind of like
Okay.
how mom would do it when you were
This particular cut of steak, I'd probably do 30 seconds. You know what? I'd do 45 seconds, 45 seconds, 45 seconds rolling it around, put it in the oven, finish it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
While that's cooking
that
and
smells
searing,
so good.
Smells great.
we have these beautiful tomatoes from the Union Square Green Market here.
Wow.
We're just going to treat them simply again. Want to marinate them a little bit.
If you haven't made the potatoes and your steak is already cooking, you're fucked. You're fucked. Because again, potatoes take for goddamn ever. Again, we all we all laughed. We laughed together when Jake fucked up the potatoes.
A little bit of salt.
Right.
And a tiny pinch of sugar on each one.
Oh, that.
Again, tell you what, Jake doesn't bring me up for a couple weeks, I won't bring him up. But we all know he's going to bring me up. And if he doesn't, it shows just what a pathetic piece of shit he is.
That's
Wow.
interesting.
Let them macerate. Brings out that natural sweetness in there just a tiny bit.
Just a little.
Cool.
Okay.
Keeps them nice and juicy.
Okay.
While that's cooking, we have our beautiful salad here. Baby arugula, straight from Long Island Saturn Farms. Some beautiful Belgian endives.
Beautiful.
Gives you that crunch and everything
Like that.
in there.
Yeah.
Cucumbers.
Sliced cucumbers.
Yeah.
Strawberry.
Sprinkle them in. Shaved red onions. These have been blanched in a little bit of ice water to take out that burn, that
Yeah,
raw
yeah,
onion
yeah.
That's smart.
flavor.
Okay.
Right? Sprinkle that in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, talking about our Harry's berries. From they're organically farmed in California.
Yeah.
Height of the season, the best strawberries you can buy.
Okay.
Really use copious
You
amounts.
have to get the best produce because otherwise nothing is that
Yeah.
good.
You know, Catch Hospitality, we really like to buy the best, treat it simply,
Yeah.
showcase it, let it shine on the plate.
Okay.
Would you like to toss this for us?
Sure.
Get in there.
Now, what happens
Drizzle
with
some
these
of our
tomatoes?
vinaigrette.
Do we need to add the tomatoes?
Not yet. Those are going to be the base of our salad.
Ah.
Oh, so you put them first.
A little bit of our vinaigrette. Yeah, we're going to put those down on the plate.
Okay.
Whoops.
No worries.
Looks good.
Okay.
Should I flip this or are we still?
Yes, please, if you would like to. I was come back around.
Okay.
Now we're gonna slice.
These are our tomatoes.
Okay.
Look at that.
This is our
Perfect.
steak that's been resting. Look at that beautiful
Look
crust
at
you put on there.
that.
We're going to take a little bit of our vinaigrette, pour it on the bottom here.
Fancy.
Let's see.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you got to do it up. It's today's show.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit of our yellow tomatoes.
No, it's actually the only thing that I hate about cooking shows is they're like, now we're going to put this steak down. Oh, wow. Bitch, I put a steak in a pan. That ain't that impressive. It's a thing that, you know what? I'm going to blame Emerald for it, but I'm sure he's not to blame. where the audience is like, and now we're going to put our pork chops down. Wow! Fucking tits! It's like, I put some pork chops in a pan. This isn't that impressive.
Pretty.
A little bit of our red tomato down there.
Okay.
Again, you got a little bit of vinaigrette on the bottom. So as you're getting it, you're eating it.
Okay.
We're gonna slice our steak
Now, how do you slice it? Just straight?
straight down.
Okay.
Right? You want to go with the grain. You want to see that.
Oh, jeez. This guy fucked this all up. You never go straight down with a steak. You always cut it on an angle. That's just me, though. It's his steak. He can cook it how he likes.
Beautiful color. See, it's nice and juicy. No blood on the plate. It's been well rested. It's gonna taste delicious.
Okay.
Perfect.
I'm gonna take a nice
Take a little of your
bit
salad.
of our salad here.
Okay.
So I win no matter what. You're goddamn right. Look, I'm sorry your fucking boy picked a fight with somebody that he couldn't beat.
Pardon my hands.
Place
Just
it
kind of
right.
mound it up there.
Yeah.
You know, you want to keep it simple, rustic. It's summertime, not
Well, I'll never do this, but at the end of the day, it is his steak. I mean, he's wrong, but it's his steak. Son of a bitch.
salad here.
Okay.
Pardon my. This is great for lunch, breakfast, dinner.
Simple, beautiful.
Yeah. Good way to
Summer
showcase
salad.
your leftovers from catch steak.
Yeah.
Anything you want.
There you go.
Now you're adding the steak.
Even your
and
kids will eat it.
Beautiful.
A little bit of steak on top.
Look at that.
Perfect.
And he overcooked the shit out of it. But anyway, if I wasn't... Why has he stuck with me for 2 years? Why does he continually seek me out if I'm nothing? What is Jake a bully? Is that it? Is Jake a big old bully? No. It's either A, he knows I'm better than him, or B, he can't wrap his head around somebody like me. He's never dealt with a Sigma male. Somebody that just doesn't fucking care. I don't know, or E, it's the first time he's ever actually had a real man in his life. Even on just like a talking level, and just can't fathom that, oh my God, you know, I'm expected to actually fight.
Now,
You can't forget to
do you add
finish
more
a little bit
dressing,
of
or
salt.
that's it? You just use the dressing on the bottom?
So you can if you like.
Right.
Each his own. You have a little bit extra. Me personally, I like more of a drier salad to let the steak really showcase.
Awesome.
Okay.
That looks beautiful.
This is for you, lady.
Thank you.
Ooh,
Thank you so
you.
much, Michael. And to get this recipe, you can go to today.com/food.
Give the whores more liquor. All right. That's where this ends. So, good night, everyone. I'll see everyone tomorrow. Yada, yada, yada. Blah, 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 blah. Some Australian jerk.